Yeah, we're outside Fortunestown shops campaigning here with People Before activists, talking to people about the Oxfam Wealth Report that came out at the start of this week. It was a global report but also an Irish report, revealed globally the fact that the top 5 billionaires have doubled their wealth in the past 3 years, while the bottom 60% of the world's population have seen their incomes reduced in a real sense. But the same thing has also happened in this country, where most workers have seen their real wages decline because of the cost of living crisis, because of prices going up, where we've seen the housing crisis get worse, we've seen the health crisis get worse, but at the same time the rich have gotten richer. And the consequence is that the top 1%, the richest 1% in this country, control 35% of the financial wealth. So a third of the financial wealth in this country owned by just 1% of the people. And the top 2 billionaires in this country have as much wealth as half the population. So just 2 people own as much wealth as 2.5 million people in this country. So extraordinary inequality. And we're making the point that the reason is that we have a government which serves the interests of the rich, a government which was really a government of the rich, a government for landlords, a government for private developers, a government for big business, and a government for the super wealthy. And that's the reason that we have a housing crisis. That's the reason that we have a health crisis. That's the reason we have a crisis in terms of costs of childcare. That's the reason we have a crisis in terms of public services, is because the wealthy are enabled by this government to get richer and richer and richer, while ordinary people find life harder and harder. So we're calling for a wealth tax every year. We've called for a millionaires tax, a tax on net assets exceeding €1 million. So those people who have over €1 million, after all their debts are taken into account, that we tax them on that portion of their wealth that they have over $1 million. Oxfam made the point that a wealth tax could raise €9 billion. That's enough to abolish childcare fees. That's enough. That's enough to increase social welfare payments and pensions to €300 and an extra €50 for social welfare. It's enough to make all medicines and prescriptions free, and it's enough to establish a state construction company, most importantly, to resolve the housing crisis. So we're going to keep campaigning for the idea of a millionaires tax, because the super wealthy in this country need to pay tax. We need to share the wealth to end inequality.